I know it says it's going live, but as we all know, it is actually live. While it is trying to figure out what's going on, I first want to apologize for how dark it is. I am not feeling good, and my lighting kit was not set up because I was doing a short film. I was on set, so I just didn't really want to set that up. So it's going to be dark today. Don't forget to check me out at twitter.com/lore reloaded, twitch.tv/lore reloaded. And you're not going to be seeing much of me for the moment because I wanted to test something out with you guys and see if we can get this running. What is going on, Shronmore? Hope you are doing absolutely positively well today. So let me see. I think was it this one? Yeah, there it is. So I will be doing something coming up with Ketwalski, Sid Alpha, and Jesse Gender, where we'll be playing some Star Trek Adventures online. I'm trying to figure out what will be the best when it comes to that, and what looks good on screen. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of layouts. You can let me know what you like, what you don't, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, Bosniar, it's going to be a little dark today. What did at Lore Reloaded? What did your last tweet mean? What was my last tweet? Tell me that, and I'll tell you what it meant. Existence is all right. I'm feeling a little sick. So here's the game. We'll be playing Star Trek Adventures, which is a pretty fun little game. We can come down here. It'll be the four of us. We can take dice and we can throw them, and then we can see what the dice says, like that. And we can move counters. We even have look at this. Look, ooh, boom. And I can move it directions. Look how cool is this? Look. I mean, basically the future is now, people. But my question for you is, how does this look on screen? Yeah, I know I'm debating fixing that a little bit, but I'm not as concerned about what I look at. I want people to more see I want people to more see the game we'll be playing than me. It won't matter as much. If you look to the left, you'll see the other people, and I may need to work on those aspect ratios as well. My tweet, I more hate God than Voldemort. I didn't say that. I said I know more. I spelled no wrong because I'm not feeling well. I no more hate God than I hate Voldemort. Because the question that I retweeted, what's going on, Andy Black? The question that I retweeted was, for those who don't believe, do you hate God? I no more hate God than I hate Voldemort. I no more hate, I don't hate him any more than I hate Wesley Crusher. I just don't, well, no, I can't say that. Janeway. I don't hate villains. I wanted to give you guys another option. So if you like that, or what about this? What if I just remove that altogether? Is that better? I think that's better if you ask me. I don't know. I think this is a cool little program. I'm also testing to see if it'll mess up my streaming. Oh, all right. So while I'm playing around with this and getting kind of the getting all the aspects together, let's talk about Star Trek to a degree. And let's talk about the more grim aspects that it can take. I think it's cool as hell as you can roll die. How cool is that? And then you got the little screen here that's in the book. But anyway, I kind of take, for me, it's somewhat of a slippery slope to a degree. So when you consider the, and let me ask you before we get into it, do you like this or do you prefer it with the thing? So let me know, do you prefer it with the flag or without the flag? That aside, I really do enjoy moral quandary, looking at things from a gray perspective. I think the battles between good and evil and the good guys having to make the hard decisions is something that can really be explored. but it is a slippery slope because when I think about what's acceptable to me, I think maybe you could go a rung above. I think maybe you could go a rung above uh, Deep Space Nine. So you could go a little bit more than what Deep Space Nine is. But I think that if you go, um, I think that if you go full on Discovery, you've gone too far. I think it's um, too dark. But again, I understand why that is very. See, I can do first person mode and walk around. I understand why that is very hypocritical, I guess. You know? I'd be curious what your guys' opinions are on all of this. Uh, at Lore Reloaded, I can make a basic statement. While Trek is full of pretentious jerks I dislike, it isn't Warhammer 40k, and shouldn't try to go grim in general because what drew people to it was hope. So do you think? What do you think about Deep Space Nine? Then would be my counter, Cody. That got pretty dark relative to TNG or even Voyager, right? So what would be your opinion there? I see some Steam Runner. Love the game. Going in those MSD player consoles. Yeah, these things are cool, aren't they? I didn't create this. I just downloaded the game, and then this was a fan made DLC, and so I think it's pretty cool. I agree. Logo off the board and replace it with the little nebula. I think would look nice. Okay. I mean, I can modify all of that, but that'll take me some time. Really, I just wanted to see how it looked on screen. Like, if I was just to use this as the basis, how would you guys, how would you guys deal with it, or how would you like it? Now, I'm debating. I may do this on my uh, Twitch, or I may just do it live here. I don't know, honestly. I don't think a lot of people would like me doing it live on the YouTube channel. DS9 was more. DS9 is like the Days of Our Lives, but in space. I don't think DS9 was Days of Our Lives. I think Discovery was Days of Our Lives in space. I really, really do. I do not think DS9 was that way. DS9 actually showed us the war. You want to see someone not showing us the war and just having all kinds of angst. That is definitively Discovery. I mean, we never saw anything. I don't even know why it's that. Roll 20, do not pass go straight to jail. That's true. Trek can be grim, but Star Trek from isn't the same kind of grim as other sci-fi universes. I guess. I mean, again, it just seems really interesting to me, really intriguing that people will, for whatever reason, get upset about Discovery, like I do. I think Discovery went, whoa! I think Discovery went way, way too far. But I don't necessarily think that DS9 did. People like the darkness of DS9. It was more realistic. It was like a mix between gritty sci-fi and clean TNG. I would agree with that. I really would. I think that given enough time, oh man, I'm not feeling well. I think that DS9 still had a way of keeping the hope there to a degree. I loved your interview stream the other day with the writer. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Nassim. DS9 did have a happy ending, more or less. Well, so did Discovery. Technically, if you look at the time DS9 was made and Discovery was made, DS9 is way darker for its time compared to Discovery in today's shows. I know what I was saying. Yeah, DS9, I think, is the best case scenario for humanity, if ever there was a best case scenario. You know? Discovery, again, like you guys said, just seems more of the same. It does really seem kind of very, I don't know, expanse light, I guess. Can you say that? Rolled a six, spoke, let the Romulans burn, and laughed, and them while drinking Vulcan tea. Yes. Star Trek Adventures actually does it differently. The objective is to get as low a score as possible, not as high a score. It's intriguing. Goldicott agrees that DS9 was better than Star Trek Discovery. Well, I mean, it was, though. It was. Discovery could have been good. They pushed too much. I think they went too far. I agree. Discovery sacrificed story potential for gritty melodrama. Yeah. I think so. Discovery wanted to push the envelope. It wanted to show you something that was drastically different. But in doing that, they really failed the audience, I think. Now, they did pick up new audience and new people who'd want that. But assuming that Star Trek Picard is somewhat of a return assuming Star Trek Picard is somewhat of a return to like a TNG style, I think the fans that they had gotten with Star Trek Discovery are going to be completely turned off to Star Trek Picard. If Star Trek Picard doesn't have the same kind of grit, the same kind of anti-right bias, that it's going to be taken pretty poorly by those who really enjoy it, or who really enjoyed Discovery. And so I do think that it's going to go. Technically, the way they describe themselves is DSC, not STD. Just like Voyager is VOY, not STV. At least Discovery didn't have an annoying character like Wesley Crusher. It absolutely did have an annoying character like Wesley Crusher. Not as bad as Wesley Crusher, I'll admit, but that person's name is Michael Burnham. Michael Burnham and Wesley share quite a bit. I don't think Star Trek Discovery sacrificed anything. I think they just had worse writers and producers. I wonder when it comes to the writers. I do. I am on the fence about that. I think that perhaps it might be an executive decision more than it could have been what the writers are doing. There is a lot more to it than just that, DS9 was still Trek. Humanity still had friends and was negotiating, but had the reality of different value systems clash without just saying this value system is bad and they will have ours. Maybe. But you also see the Federation losing its values too, to a degree. Do you get annoyed by the ridiculous scale on Star Trek Discovery starships? I don't really think about it a lot. It's kind of like the way the Klingons look. The Klingons change so much. And honestly, the way I look at Star Trek Discovery is they took all of the bad concepts and amped them up to 11. Ships not being appropriately scaled is nothing new. If you look at DS9, the Defiant changes almost every other day when it comes to how what its size is. And so honestly, that doesn't bug me all that much. It's amped up to 11, so I just really try to ignore it. I have said this before, and I mean this with every part of my body. Do I mean this? What Discovery did is they took every bad concept, of Voyager, of DS9, of TNG, and they just amped it up to 11. This shot is more well lit than MB's court martial. Yeah, I know. It's I had to do principal photography Saturday, and I feel horrible right now, so I just haven't reset up the lighting kit. I know it's pretty bad. Video picture has a game board. Are you doing the game thing or just making fun of all the fan designs you got that had no effect? I'll go for either. No, I actually am doing a game. Hope you do not hate me buying your love here. Well, you can buy my love, Josef Petrick. By the way, thanks guys so much for the support. It's how I keep the lights on. So thank you so much for the super chats. I don't hate you. I didn't hate you in that comment. Honestly, you shouldn't care how I feel about something if I'm being frank with you. You should just say your opinion and trust that um, I'm going to be okay. Or if I don't like it, then screw me. I'm not worth it. So, but I'm not mad. I haven't been mad at you, Yosef, at all. But going back to that, where is it? Oh, I exited the game. Hold on. Hold on. The reason why I have the game board or whatever is to show you guys this. I don't know why it does that sound. That was an autosave. Why is that autosaved? What? All right. Is for this. I'm going to be doing a game live with Lore Runner, Sid Alpha, and Jesse Gender and Ket Walski. And so I wanted you guys' opinion on that. That would be why that was the way it was. So not many people because there are no lights on. There's not many people because I was actually looking at the game first and discussing that, and people aren't interested in that. Morning, Lori. You're no Humphrey Bogart, but the noir look isn't bad for you. Well, thank you, Hidden Travel. I don't know if you're insulting me or not, but I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're watching this, definitely hit the like button. Hit that like button. It's how I keep the light. Well, you guys aren't giving super chats, so I can't afford the lights. That's what it is. See? Subliminal. I think it looks amazing, but I have no idea what game. It's called Tabletop Simulator. It's about $20. You can buy 4 of them for 60, which is what I did. Those lights look dim. Here's some more. Thank you, Thomas Conservative. I appreciate that, buddy. Haven't seen Discovery yet, but a question. Sometimes I see franchise continuations and think this show would have been better if it wasn't trying to be a part of the old franchise. Could this apply to Discovery? I don't think that Discovery is trying to be a part of the old franchise. I think they're paying lip service to continuity in the old franchise, but I don't think they're trying to be a part of it. So if that is a concern for you, then you ain't got to worry about it. Lore, get a pipe just to look snobby. I got to get a pipe. You're right. What type of game is it? It looks like D&D style or something like that. Yeah, it is. It's Star Trek Discovery. It's 2D20 is what it is. And basically, it's interesting. It doesn't have as much of a focus on combat, but you roll 2D20, and the object is to actually get lower scores than higher ones. This is just something someone made using the game Tabletop Simulator. So it wasn't even originally supposed to be like a tabletop simulator. So, yeah. See, you can do all kinds of stuff. It's fun. Oh, no. Go! You see how fast I threw stuff. Because I'm a BAMF. That's the way that is. It's the way that works. Victor Snyder, ouch, I got shocked when I hit the like button. Well, you know, once you hit it, it should stop it from being shocked. That just, it takes care of the question. At Lore's age, skateboard tricks put it in a cast. That's true. God, I hate being old. Will you tear apart the designs? I really want to see some of them from your perspective, especially the Moriarty drawing and such. Will I tear apart what designs? What are you speaking about specifically? Yeah, Jerry, I'm right there with you, man. I'll be to bed soon. I'll be joining you, Jerry. I'll be joining you, buddy. When you ask if Star Trek can be grim, I think the Dominion War and Discovery covered that, so I would say yes, depending on if you keep to the lore or not. The problem is I think that there's a difference between I think there's a problem between Discovery and Deep Space Nine. I think one can be considered dark and the other is like unreasonably dark, you know? Do you think the captain of the Discovery would get along with the Captain Janeway and Sisko and Picard or not? And would they clash more with her? I mean, which captain are you talking about? Are you talking about Lorca, Saru, the unnamed captain we've never seen? I think I would say that Lorca would probably get along with Sisko to a great degree until they destroyed his character. And I think Saru would probably more identify with Janeway. The original series was, the universe can be dark, but it always made it light from its perspective. Well, I mean, what Star Trek is horror in space. It is science fiction horror, is what it is. If you look at most all of the episodes they do, it is horrific and scary as hell to be in space. Absolutely, without like a doubt. You know, I need to. If you guys buy me a monocle and a top hat, I will wear it. Will you tear apart the designs? I don't understand. I'm sorry, Snufflock. I'm not feeling well, so maybe it's on me. What designs? I really want to see more of them from your perspective, especially the Moriarty drawing. Did you speak to that before that I missed when it comes to the designs you're specifically speaking about? How would Kirk deal with Mike if they met? Michael Burnham? Um, I don't know. Probably respectfully, if I had to guess. I think my cats are downstairs. Nassim, I did dress as a giant blue tardigrade. How'd you know? Sunrise. Okay, we have a new team. Let's see if they can make something new for Gundam. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sunrise. Okay, we have a new team. Let's see if they can make something new for Gundam. CBS. Let's give the writers who don't do Trek make Trek. I'm hopeful Picard's will be okay. I really am. Is Streamlabs up and running? I don't use Streamlabs. I use Stream Elements. And it should be. And there should be a link to it if that's what you want to utilize. Horror in space equal 2D flagellating space organism pulling a galaxy-class starship into a binary star. Yeah, that could be scary. I think he or she is wanting your take on the details, like on Trek Yards. The details of what? What do you want me to give you details on? I'll be happy to. I can give you all kinds of details. But on what? Like on, give me the details of Moriarty's drawing? Especially the Moriarty drawing. Is that in a specific TNG episode, I'm guessing? Is anyone else excited for Axanar? I'll be interested. You're at 66.5k subs. When you hit 0.6, I won't be back until you get to 0.7 because superstition. Here's hoping you get to 6.7 quickly. Okay, well, I mean, I'm going to be honest, that's a little weird. At 666 subscribers, did you cancel your channel? Did you just stop? Or okay. For grimness, how about in Star Trek Online where the Klingon hell invades real space? Yeah, that got you. The fan designs you received on Twitter. Aha! See? And such. For the civilian craft. I happened to see one which was just a profile view of a backwards galaxy looking about as basic as the Moriarty. I got you. I understand. I mean, if people want me to do a breakdown on it, yeah. I can the best that I can, but if I don't have a lot of information, there's not a lot I can do, right? Axanar 2, I doubt will ever happen. I really don't like Star Trek Discovery even more because the few false dawns were crapped on at first opportunity, but at least they were not as hostile to religion as TNG was. I don't think that the what am I looking for here? I don't think that Discovery ever really addressed religion. I really don't. I made sure not to look at my... Well, as you know, Bird of Prey 5, and we can all speak to this. As long as you don't look at the devil or don't acknowledge that something is happening because of the devil, it doesn't happen in the Bible. I mean, ignoring things is exactly what you should do, especially if Satan is involved. So, I mean, you got me there. TNG wasn't really hostile in so much as it was wary. No, TNG was drastically hostile to religion. Yeah, TNG went out of its way to bash religion as much as it could. There were a couple of episodes. The most notorious one was Who Watches the Watchers, but there were a couple episodes where they went out of their way. They hated religion. Yes, TNG absolutely was hostile in almost every way. You had to either willingly You had to either be 5 and not notice what you were looking at, willingly, knowingly ignore certain aspects of TNG, or never have seen it. There is no way that you could say, there's no way that you could say with a straight face that TNG wasn't hostile to religion and actually have watched TNG. Or you have to bend your back so badly that it's just, it's insane. Insane Way repels all devils. And I mean, Insane Way, yeah, I would say that. She does. What's Satan? Who's talking about my ex-wife and why? We married the same person, Vile? The same person? Yay, I wanted to hear your sarcasm and cynicism on the wide array you received. Were some cleverly designed and might get a cameo, and were some so garbage? I'm going to use one of them for the game that I'm running. I'll be running a Star Trek Adventures game, and I'm going to be buying and using one of those for what I'm doing. So, what about the Traveler? Asked Nissan. I never viewed Who Watches the Watchers as hostile to religion. It was more of not interfering. Well, let's go do that together. And then we can get a chiropractor to help you with your back when you try to bend. What am I looking for? We'll start right here. Baron, the scientist he's talking to. Like it or not, we have rekindled the Mintakans' belief in the Overseer. Riker, and are you saying that this belief will eventually become a religion? Baron, it's inevitable, and without guidance, the religion could degenerate into inquisitions, holy wars, and chaos. Picard, horrifying. Dr. Baron, your report describes how rational these people are. Millennia ago, they abandoned their belief in the supernatural. Now you are asking me to sabotage that achievement. Now hold on, guys. Let me reread that because I'm sick and stupid, so maybe I'm not doing this right. Millennia ago, they abandoned their belief in the supernatural. Now you are asking me to sabotage that achievement. Now hold on. Let me try to figure this out. Hold on. Abandoned the supernatural achievement. Abandoned the supernatural achievement. Okay, I'm still not getting it. Let's continue on. Now you're asking me to sabotage that achievement, to send them back into the dark ages of superstition and ignorance. To have a belief in the supernatural is to go back into the dark ages of superstition and ignorance. Now, this is what Picard thinks. This is backed up in other episodes of TNG, and DS9 tells us that humans at a minimum, but most likely all of Starfleet, are non-believers. They go out of their way multiple times to bash religion. No, at no point, Charles Ryan Lee, did I at any point see anything about holy wars in there. I can read it again if you'd like. He specifically says that superstition is to go back into the dark ages and ignorance. So, I mean, if you need help with your back, we got some people who can help you out. Did someone call me an angry atheist? Or are you talking about Picard? I think Picard was an angry atheist. I agree. I actually don't like this take. I think that this is really stupid. And what they did to religion and the way Starfleet looks at religion in TNG and on was actually very stupid. I think that it. Uh, I think they. I think they replaced religion with the Prime Directive, whether they meant to or not. Kirk, Janeway, and Sisko were more flexible about religion. No, Cedric, you guys don't know. Janeway and Sisko definitively were not. Sisko was definitively an atheist until he was convinced by the wormhole aliens, the prophets, and converted over. And when he converted over, he screwed over his son in that episode, by the by. Janeway was an atheist, and in the entire series, she ended it being an atheist. That said, I think that she was the best of all of them when it comes to her secular, the way she looks at a secular philosophy. I really like how Janeway is written, specifically when it's focused on her atheism. I think she did it right. So Picard, Janeway, and Sisko early season 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it happens in season 5. Atheist. Kirk, I think, believed. I think. Guys, we can talk about Star Trek, but we can talk about religion in Star Trek, but let's not talk about it between ourselves, because I have no interest in us fighting. They tried to do religion with Chakotay and how well that came out. They didn't even try to do religion. Chakotay was them trying to put Indian religion in there and making everybody look like an idiot. The Prime Directive as a religion. Yeah, that's, here's what I don't like about it. Here's what I don't like about what they did with religion in TNG, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. They basically made it, whether they meant to or not, they basically made it where if you've ever seen the pastors, you have a God-sized hole in your heart. If you don't believe in God, you're going to worship something. They literally made it like that. Picard definitely. Sisko probably, till he converted. Janeway, yeah, definitively. Because the Prime Directive in those series became their god. And now in the original series, I'm on the fence in the original series. I'll be honest with you. We have religion. There's lip service given to religion, but in a lot of the episodes, they make religion be the problem. They make religion look negative, if that makes any sense. And I don't like that. Again, this is more me talking about Star Trek than anything else, and it's just the way I see that it was written. When you have strict adherence to the rules, that is just another form of religion. I would agree with that, Charles. I think that you can make things as bad as religion, and that's what they had with the Prime Directive. SF Debris actually did the best on this, and I can't really fault him, or I can't really do justice on what he was saying, but the Prime Directive, as defined by both Picard and Janeway, is something that they'd make nature a god. Because you don't know how something's going to turn out, you don't do anything, And it was just it was unfortunate. Religion does have negative aspects. Is it wrong for Trek to point those out to make a good story? I think religion has a ton of negative aspects. It has some good aspects too. I wonder if in Trek, the only reason they had a chapel, the only reason that they had people who were religious was because it was done in the 60s and you couldn't stand against religion at that point. I honestly question that, because honestly, in a lot of the episodes, religion is the bad guy. Religion becomes the reason things happen. So, and I'm not saying that I necessarily, and I think this is the wrong way to take religion. I'll be completely honest with you. I think The Expanse does it better. I think Babylon 5 does it better. For the Dayquil Fund, hope you feel better. Thank you, Broken Eyes. Religion also has positive aspects. It is wrong to focus on the negative aspect. I disagree. I think I'm not going to get into this. I don't want to argue religion. I don't want people arguing religion among each other. We can discuss it when it comes to science fiction. And I think in Star Trek, religion is given. I think religion is given the fairest shake in Deep Space Nine and in Voyager. Sans Chakotay. What does God need with a starship? I agree. The Prime Directive was to keep us from playing and to let life happen. I disagree with that view of the Prime Directive. I think the Prime Directive is much more pragmatic than that. Remember now, Kirk and Picard are two different breeds of Starfleet officers, had to use the Prime Directive in different ways. Yeah, I think the original series Prime Directive take is the best and most, it's the one that makes the most sense. I don't agree with the way the Prime Directive is looked at from TNG on at all. TNG was the most contemptuous of religion and dismissed it as superstitious nonsense and openly dismissed anything that doesn't conform to the idea that the universe, there were Puritans. I agree, Nathan. And that's my thing. When I say this and when I point this out, a lot of people think that I'm just attacking religion, and I'm not, because I think that everything should have a fair shake when you're doing it, if you're going to be a good storyteller, and I don't think they would. They treated the Bajoran religion in a positive way. That depends on how you look at it. I actually really like Kira Nerys as a believer. I think that she is probably the best example of what a believer should be. That said, from everything Starfleet knows, there's no way the prophets are gods. They're wormhole aliens, definitively. There are more powerful beings that exist. They know this. The Bajorans actively deny science to believe in a people that are obviously not gods. And so is that a positive portrayal? I don't know. But again, that said, I think Kira Nerys, because Kira, when she believes what she believes, and she believes that it's correct, but she's not necessarily judgmental of other people, and she understands how other religions work. Like, for instance, when Odo was recounting, because there was one of the Wayuns tried to defect, and he was dying, and the Wayun asked Odo to give his blessing. And, Odo didn't know how to feel about that. He gave his blessing, but he felt it was useless. He didn't know about it. And Kira corrects him. And I think that she does a really good job of explaining it to him. She said, it doesn't matter what you believe, Odo, necessarily. Wayun was looking into the face of one of his gods who gave him his blessing before he died. And to him, that's everything. And she was okay with just everyone believing what they believed without any negativity to it, So I really think that Kira Nerys is my favorite religious person. I know they were doing it mockingly, but I found Quark's devoutness endearing in its way. You're talking about their religion? Yeah, that's interesting. At lore, does it need to be fair? Their world building was like they wanted to be, a message they wanted to bring over. Here's the problem. It doesn't have to be, so maybe I misspoke. But I think it's bad writing. And let me tell you why, Bask. In TNG, they created a parody of religion, and they made skepticism and atheism look bad. So all they really did is empowered the religious to show how even a science fiction show full of atheists are really religious and believe what they want. They did the opposite of what they intended to do. And they went against the Trek norm of being subtle and providing both sides. I think DS9 did a better job of switching that around and showing both sides and being more subtle. But that's why, in my opinion, it is a negative. That's why you want to try to present both sides and do it fairly. Because of that. Because all you do is create a parody people can argue against. One of the best recruitment tools I think you have is Star Trek Discovery's Mirror Universe for the president. Were the Bajorians polytheistic, or were their religion not to conform to polytheistic but monotheistic? I don't want to say polytheistic, because polytheism really, technically polytheistic, but the way that they did it was monotheistic. There's multiple prophets, but they're all kind of lumped together. Trek and subtle don't go hand in hand. SC, I could not disagree with you more. I think Trek has done some excellent subtle argumentation, both political and cultural. And I think they've changed minds because of the way they did it. I think that generally Trek has been known for taking a scalpel to a situation and doing it beautifully. I don't really know a ton about Klingon beliefs. I have seen all the episodes, but it's not something I went into. I blame the Vulcans for the Prime Directive being held as immutable, given their dedication to the laws of logic. A lot of the Prime Directive is based on the way the Vulcans ran their operations. When you look at the Vulcans in Enterprise, they at least do lip service to the Prime Directive. So I can really believe that the Prime Directive was probably fashioned and instituted by the Vulcans with the backing of the humans, if I had to guess. Riker didn't treat Ensign Ro all that fairly. He wouldn't let her wear the earring, but would let Worf wear the sash. I haven't looked a ton into that, but yeah, based on that. Dudes painted black and white to represent black and white divide is not subtle. I mean, that's again, SC, that's a straw man to a degree, good friend, because I have already stated that they don't always do it. I mean, the entire Discovery series proves they don't always do it. TNG's hate of religion proves that they don't always do it. But that said, I think having two people that were one color on one side and one color on another and had political issues that they argued with, I think there is some subtlety to that. I really do, because they didn't necessarily go out of their way to point it out, the race as much. I think there's more subtlety than you're giving that credit for. But even if it isn't, even if you're right and I'm wrong on that one, again, I think they're more subtle than they are brash. Especially, again, most of TNG, most of DS9, most of Voyager. Haven't really thought about Enterprise that much, maybe. Discovery, definitively not. Discovery was as in your face as you can be. Q said he played a god once and Ardra was a false devil to multiple species. Sure. The best way to influence people is to show and explore rather than impose. Yeah, I'd agree to a point. Yeah, the thing about Riker, and again, this isn't something that I've really looked into all that much. If Riker's being petty, she should have went to Picard and had him corrected. Because what happens to one should happen to all. And I truly believe that. Unless there is a significant reason why not to do that. So if the earring posed no threat on the bridge, like the sash did. There's no reason to have it removed if they allow religious iconography. Now, I could see that if for whatever reason, maybe they're wearing something like you'd wear in Islam, or maybe, I don't know, they do something that's inhibiting your ability to work, then in that instance, I think it'd be fair. Do you think the era of writing had something to do with it, or the people behind the show? I think yes is the answer to that, Bask. I think the era, the type of writing, as well as the the type of writing, the writers, and the era. I mean, they're products of their era. Hey, SC, hold on one second, buddy. Oh, here we go. SC, I got something for you, buddy. Hold on. So I think you're going to like this, SC. So this is a pretty hat for all of the straw men that you're doing. And so you can put it on the straw men, and it will scare away the scarecrows. And you know, I want to give this to you because you're doing a lot of the straw men, and I think they'd look better in a hat. So I hope you enjoy my gift. I don't even care. Space Above and Beyond was definitely a religious. I'm about to go and take one of his creations out of the then and drink my scotch as his blood. Amen. Yeah, I need to do breakdowns of Space Above and Beyond. Thank you for supporting the channel. Is switching out Romulans for communists really a subtle take on McCarthyism? I don't know that the Romulans were attempted to Pope Reloaded. No, they're not facts. They're definitively not facts. As I said, they're more subtle than not. So even if you were to give me multiple examples, and every one of those examples was right, as I said, they're more subtle than not. So all you're doing is showing the different examples. I don't know. I would disagree though that I think that the races wore hats, but I don't think they were as blatant or as in your face as you're making them out to be. Ro was considered malcontent from Starfleet. I think that was why Riker was giving her a hard time. Not right, but I think that's why. Yeah, what about Drumhead, SC? What about it? It was well written. I did 4 or 5 videos on it. I actually, and I'll disagree with you there too, because Drumhead did it in a very subtle way, because I can take Drumhead and apply it to today when McCarthyism isn't around and it still is apt. So I think it's very I think it speaks to all times, at least for now. Hopefully we get to a point that it doesn't. The original series Klingons represented the Soviet Union. Okay. Imagine a Klingon in a fedora. That has to happen. We have to put them all in a fedora. All of them in or a Pope hat. Fedoras shaped as Pope hats. Made the call. The topic is complex at the very best. It's complex at the very best, you say? One of the things I like... Yeah, I've never studied Star Trek at all, Lego. I'm just now getting into it. So, you know, I'm hoping you can help me out with that. One of the things I really liked about Star Trek is that I think they normalized a lot of things. They didn't say it was special. They just normalized it. Because that's how you make things... That's how you change a society, is by showing something normalized, not by pointing it out. You know, it's interesting. No one can agree on what the race is. SC, this is what we call a slam dunk. Are you ready, SC? Are you ready? I'm about to slam dunk you, sir. No one can agree on what the different races were supposed to be when it comes to the United States enemies, which only shows that maybe it wasn't as in your face as you thought it was. Maybe there was a little bit of subtlety. Oh my god, I feel so bad. I want to die. Uh-oh, imagine a Klingon professional Elvis Presley impersonator. I bet that exists. But the Romulans have open Roman style of government and outlook. That's why I thought Italian fascists. Yeah, I think that was pretty Roman. The naming styles are also very Roman, so I'll agree with that. This is going to get memed. Man, I've been memed a lot. I don't know. Oh, subtlety. Babylon 5 was a religious show. I don't know. Cedric, are you messing with me, buddy? I don't know that it had religion in it. Never Sing Again. Dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly, with stories to tell. It being written by a theist doesn't really mean much to me. Theists or atheists can write things that aren't necessarily that. Continuum Trek helping out the channel. Do you think there's a likelihood of a crossover between Picard and Discovery? I think they're going to reference Discovery a lot. I think they're going to make sure and be in your face and say Discovery definitely happened. But I don't know that they're going to bring anyone from Discovery on. I don't think they'll do that. All through the forest, they sing out in chorus. I love that scene with Bortus where he's like singing, was it My Heart Will Go On? And everyone was clapping and he's like, you will be silent. It does, man. That made me feel better. Whatever happened to the gangster planet from the original series? The same thing that happened to the, what was it? The Gateway at the Edge of Tomorrow or whatever the hell it is. Or the Organians. That's what happened to it. Hey, Laura, have you ever considered professional storytelling? I am, in fact, getting a degree that will allow me to do that. It is called digital cinematography, my good friend. And I'm looking forward to it. Gummy bears marching here and there and everywhere. Huge potential that's beyond compare. Wonder what happened to the Roman planet and the Uncle Adolf. Yeah, the original series gets a little weird. Of that, I'll agree. DSC is just as subtle as any other Trek? Well, that's wrong. People get hate boners over chanting Trumpers when they could also apply to any group of radicals. No, I see. You're just, I would say you are what you preach against. That I don't think any rational person, no, I won't say rational. I don't think any unbiased person would say that. I could sing some not gummy bears, Sailor Moon. Oh. How would that go? Hold on. Trump may in fact be Satan. Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight, never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon. It's actually a really good series. I like Sailor Moon. I don't care what you think. You can fuck off. No one is mentioning the giant green hand from the original. Yeah, I'm not. The original series, as I said, it got pretty silly pretty fast. A lot of people, I don't really see any evidence for this in canon, besides the fact that it's just stupid. The original series has a lot of stupid stuff. A lot of people say they're just like stories watching it from a biased point of view for the Federation. I mean, I can kind of see why they say that. I don't see there any evidence of it, but that would be interesting. I'm laying odds that Picard has Michael as his favorite and inspiration. That would be horrible. I hope to God they don't do that. Biased, I'm not the one claiming one is superior to the other. Old and new is equally good and bad. What? Biased, I'm not the one person claiming one is superior to the other. You don't have to be biased to say one thing is better than the other. You can not be biased and say, X is better than Y. So I don't see how that holds up at all. You are the one claiming something that is contrary to the evidence, which would be the bias that I speak of. You haven't lived until you've seen Sailor Moon. What the hell is wrong with you, Charles? No one thought Star Trek was going to survive and be popular, though. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Interesting, Thomas Conservative. I don't think you were on. If you go back and look at my live streams, I did an interview with a writer for Voyager who said that the Omega molecule was the Borg's religion because it was perfection. That doesn't make it so. I believe in the death of the author that it becomes something there, but it's still something interesting to take a look at. Don't know, but fire is always a good start. The difference is subtle, but it is there. What are we talking about? Reading the chat, I want to visit. What the hell is wrong with all you guys? I'm about to ban everybody. Every one of y'all about to be banned. I'm going to ban myself. I don't even know if I can do that. Ow, that hurt. Preferring something over another or liking it better is bias. Not necessarily. I don't accept that at all. And that's not what we're talking about, though. You can say something is superior to another. For instance, I could say a tire that is filled with air is superior than a tire that is flat. There's no bias there. I'm not the one quoting my own opinion. I'm pointing out what's been presented on screen. Okay, is that me talking to you then, I guess, SC, is what you're trying to say? Because I'm not the one quoting my own opinion. I am pointing out what's been presented on screen. I'd love to see a series that just ships following in the wake of Kirk and finishing what he started. Well, I mean, you have to do that for TNG too. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end this particular one. We have a video coming out. It's a short one, really short. And I've been working on stuff like what you saw beforehand, which is why. So I'm working on this. Make sure you followed me at twitch.tv/Lore Reloaded so you can see me and other Trek channels, sci-fi channels, and Sid Alpha. Be playing some fun games. I also have a podcast coming out this Friday, which should be fun. If you're a member or a Patreon, you're going to get 30 minutes, exclusive 30 minutes that no one else will get to see. And more videos coming out. I'm going to have to get better before I can really do much. But thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded.